Hi, I'm Stephanie from Crosscut Sewing, and I have Amanda here with me today, and we are going to make a really easy project. We are going to make a loop scarf or an infinity scarf, and we're going to make one that loops twice around the neck. And these make a really great gift. You can make these out of woven fabric, which is not stretchy fabric. I like to have something that's a little bit soft and drapey. I usually stay away from quilting cotton for these unless I want one that has a theme that, I really love. But you want to have something nice and soft and drapey. If you have a woven fabric, if you choose a woven fabric, you will have to purchase about 1.5 yards for a child's scarf or about 1.75 yards for an adult, because usually with woven fabrics, your width of fabric is only 44 inches. So to get the length long enough to cut it out, you would have to purchase the length. But if you do that, you can usually make 2 or 3 scarves out of it. So you would need to cut it at about 60 inches or so for the adult size. So today we're going to use jersey fabric, and what's nice about jersey fabric is not only that it's soft and stretchy and drapey, but also that it is wider. So off the bolt, this is about 60 inches wide. So we only have to buy, I would purchase about 1/2 yard for either the child or for the adult scarf. So I went ahead and cut this out. For myself, I would use the full 1/2 yard, and I would have this be about 18 inches wide this way. So when you fold it in half, it'd be about 9. I like mine a little bit fuller, but for Amanda, I cut this out at 15 inches there. And I still have the full width of fabric, and for myself, I would probably leave it at that and just cut off this selvage edge here. But for Amanda, I think we're going to cut it a little closer to maybe 52 inches. So I'll be cutting about 8 inches off. So because I'm cutting from this end here, I'm really only going to cut 4 inches off. 4 inches off of each side, because that is 8 inches total. Okay. So now, this is easy, but there's a lot of fabric here. So we'll work together and go down this whole length of fabric. Okay. And we're just going to match up the long edges like this. We're going to fold it in half this way. And the jersey fabric tends to curl up a little bit. So you just want to make sure, see how those are nice and flat and nothing's curling up. So let's get you going over here. And I'll use a little bit of teamwork on this. Oops. Actually, let's do it this way. This will be faster. Here. I will get the curl out and get it lined up. Go ahead. It's nice having an extra set of hands with us. It's a good way to do it. Okay, so you are just going to sew down this whole thing. But because it's a stretchy fabric, we are going to use a zigzag stitch.
Cool.
So I have my zigzag stitch on here. I'm going to have my length at a 2 and my width at a 3 for my zigzag. I think that'll be good for my scarf here. So instead of doing a back stitch, because you have the zigzag, I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do here. So see this button here? Mm-hmm. If I press this, I don't have to do anything else other than press that. The machine just ties a little knot to anchor our stitch. So that's a good way, if your machine does that, to start a zigzag stitch. So go ahead. The key to this is just going to be to check as you go and make sure nothing's getting caught and nothing is rolling up.
Okay.
So to keep fixing it as you go. Good. I like the way you checked that. That was perfect. Go right to the end. You'll see. There you go. Perfect. Yep, and tie that knot. Perfect. Okay, take it out. Okay.
Wow, that's all.
That was a really nice job. You kept those really nicely lined up there. And you can tell because even down here, they lined up. Okay, so now, we can do a couple of things. Let's kind of, since the scarf is going to be for you, we will kind of clip it together and we can try it on and see if you like the length, and we can always make it a little bit shorter if we wanted to. So let's see. That's once, that's twice. I think that's good. I like it. Yeah. Okay. So we won't cut any length off, but you could if you wanted to. Better to make it too long, and you can always trim it down a little bit. Okay. So now we have to join these ends. So in order to do this, make sure you're kind of paying attention here because this is a little bit tricky. So I'm going to go ahead and reach through this and grab the end, and I want to make sure it's not getting twisted. So I have the end, I'm actually grabbing the seam so I make sure it doesn't get twisted, and I want to pull this about halfway through. So I want to have these ends, these two edges of the fabric line up like this, and I'm going to start clipping this at the seam. So I have my seam like this. I'm going to clip that together. Go ahead. And then I'm going to make sure that this is staying open. And I'm going to go around. Go ahead. And clip this whole thing. Okay. Clip these two edges together. There you go. Let's keep going around here. Got this lined up really well too. Good. When you sew jersey fabric like this, you just want to make sure that you're not stretching it as you sew, otherwise it'll be really puckered. Okay, so I have these all lined up like this, and I'm going to sew around this, but I want to leave an opening so that I can pull the scarf right side out. I want to leave it near the seam, but not on the seam, just because it makes it a little trickier to hand sew it shut. So I would say let's start right here by the seam and go around, and let's make a mark so we don't forget where to stop. Okay, so for this, I'm going to go ahead and pull this off of the machine because it will make it easier if we can get this around like that. So start right there. Okay. Do the knot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the thing on.
You know what? For this part, let's turn the speed down just a little, just because we're not doing like that long straight line. Yeah, there you go. And you want to stop on this every little bit, and your clips can get caught under here, so you just want to kind of gently pull that out, and then do a little bit, and then keep doing that as you go.
like a tiny bit?
Yes, yes, you can turn it a little bit. It's just you only want to do a little bit at a time and then straighten yourself out on this. I think stop and pull it from underneath a little bit. I think you have, yeah, you had a little clip caught there. You know you're at the finish line now. Perfect. All right. Great. That looks really good. All right, so let's turn it right side out. So I kind of like to start a little bit further down. There we go. I'm going to pull this whole thing right side out. Now we have a scarf.
Cool.
So I would probably just press this opening in like that so it stays nice. And then we will just use our ladder stitch and hand sew this opening closed. And if you aren't sure how to do that stitch, I have a video that shows you how to do that. This kind of matches me more than you, but you can go ahead and try it on. And if you made one, we'd love to see it, so please share with #CrosscutSewing. Looks good.
Good.
Thanks for watching and happy sewing!